Heading to Las Vegas to catch the action at Allegiant Stadium? Skip the traffic and the sky-high room rates of the Strip. Book your stay at the South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa. The South Point is located just 7 miles away from the stadium, and it's a quick trip up the freeway, making it an affordable rideshare or taxi ride. And don't worry about getting here when you land in Vegas. We offer a convenient airport shuttle to get your getaway off to a stress-free start. Shuttles are also available on Raider game days for a small fee. So whether you're rooting for your team or seeing your favorite band in concert at Allegiant Stadium, South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa is your ticket to all the excitement. Are you ready to lock in your bets and cash in on the games this weekend? Get weekly football winners from Alex White, Chris Andrews, and Vinny Malulo.
I did take the dog 3.5.
I'm going to stay with the culture. That's definitely going to be one of my plays.
If the Bears have turned the corner, they have to take care of business in this game.
Yes.
Tune in for behind-the-book perspectives you won't find anywhere else.
If you're looking to bet the under, you're going to get a better number.
The wise guys are certainly not going to play the favorites.
I know if it hits 7, don't blink. Maybe that's what bettors are waiting for.
Every NFL matchup, every college game that matters, the spreads, the stats, and the smart money plays.
Is there a way to bet against both teams?
Get your winning edge with Football Frenzy, streaming on YouTube every Friday at noon Pacific.
Hello and welcome in, everybody. This is Sports by the Book. We shoot live from the South Point 5 days a week. Excited to be here with you. Alex White, Brian McCormick, and then, of course, on Thursdays, Dwayne Colucci will join us. It will be towards the end of the show today, probably about in 45 minutes or so, maybe a little earlier. But before that, we have a lot to get to. Of course, we have to recap yesterday's action. We got to get to tonight's Thursday night football game between the Jets and the Patriots. See if there's any betting angles that we can take in this matchup. A lot of games on the ice, a couple on the hardwood we definitely want to touch on. And then looking forward to the weekend, because tomorrow we have Football Frenzy. No morning show for us at 10 a.m. We're going to wait for our 12 p.m. Football Frenzy show, an hour of college football, week 12. A lot on the line for some of these teams. Excited to get the thoughts of the bookmakers. Chris Andrews and Vinny will be here in studio. And then we'll keep it going. Second hour, talking NFL, week 11. We'll also talk some of those games tonight with Dwayne Colucci, see what he has seen from his side up at the Rampart, where the money is coming in on which teams. So we're looking forward to that, as always. Today, though, before we get into today's action too, after our recap, we're going to dive into Chris Andrews' efficiency numbers, especially with some of these big games. 2 NFC games that are very meaningful between the Rams and the Seahawks. We got the Lions and the Eagles. And then, of course, an AFC matchup, AFC West, Broncos, Chiefs. So Ryan and I are going to take a look at those efficiency numbers, see if we find anything that really jumps out, maybe helps if there was a lean one way or another. Maybe those kind of push us over, and we can make a bet on those. But Ryan, good morning. Happy Thursday. How are you feeling today?
Feeling good. I did take yesterday off from placing any bets, but seemed like it could have been a good one on the hardwood for taking some underdogs plus the prices. As we get into the recap of college basketball yesterday, favorites did go 35-8 straight up, but against the spread, they were below 500. They went 19-23-1. And totals were 21-21-1.
Wow.
And then going to the NBA, favorites were 8-5 straight up, 7-5-1 against the spread, and totals were 9-3 to the over.
Very good. College football, couple of games there too, and we did briefly talk about them. Looks like favorites had a good day, 3-0 against the spread.
Yeah. All three favorites covered the number, one straight up. Northern Illinois went over the total by themselves on the road at UMass. The totals ended up going 2-1 yesterday. The Toledo-Miami Ohio game ended up going under the 44, and the Buffalo Central Michigan game went over the 45. So favorites 3-0 straight up, and against the spread in college football yesterday. Totals 2-1. And then if we go to the ice, favorites were 3-1 straight up. 2 puck lines were covered. One was reverse. That one was in Tampa. I did kind of like the Rangers getting their confidence in being able to score in Madison Square Garden, but got spooked by the thunder of the recent winning for the Lightning. So stayed off there. But favorites 3-1 straight up in hockey yesterday. Totals were also 3-1 to the over.
Now, you said too you were kind of leaning of going against the Blackhawks. I watched a lot of that game. It looked like they were in command for a lot of it, but every time they scored, the Devils seemed to answer.
Yep.
But that was a very good game between those two.
Absolutely. Yeah, that one was a really fun one to watch. Connor Bedard scored the first goal of the game. It was a beauty. And then the Hawks took the lead with 6 minutes to go in the game, ended up giving up the tying goal at 3 just a couple minutes later, and then ended up losing in overtime off of a beautiful move. But yeah, the Devils ended up winning. Tried to mention maybe a money line between the Oilers and the Devils tied up. That ended up getting home. So if you did follow that one,
yep,
good for you. So.
Hockey never disappoints, right? I mean, it's only a month in, and we still just have great games every single night.
Absolutely.
So I love it. Looking forward to the Olympics this year. We got to keep an eye on that and kind of pay attention to which guys will be going.
Yeah.
And what that means for us betting these games day by day.
Yep.
But a lot of games we will get to soon. There's a lot of goalie changes, so we want to make sure and update everybody on that. We were just talking about how it's really nice, you know, when you have your odds screen for baseball season and they typically have the starting pitcher under there. We got to work on that, getting the starting goalie, because what I prepped yesterday and then looking at it today, a lot of confirmed backup goalies going today, but we like to talk about the back-to-backs and, you know, so that will kind of help us looking forward to which goalies will be getting the start. But before we do that, let's jump over to the NFL. We're going to kind of wait. Well, let's do a quick little chat how we're feeling about tonight's game between the Jets and the Patriots. We talked about it last week. The Jets fire sale moved on from a couple players, and then they end up getting the win, right? So what does that mean for the Jets this week going into New England, who has been on a nice little win streak here, currently the number 1 seed in their division, maybe the AFC overall. So kind of a meaningful game for them in regards to don't have a trip up, right? Don't look ahead. Seems like this is going to be an easy task, but they got to stay focused. So we'll see how Mike Vrabel has his team focused and ready to go. 13-point favorite at home now, of course, with the news that Garrett Wilson will not be playing for the Jets. So, Ryan, where are you overall on this game? Or is it a pass, or is there props or anything that you think we can find an edge?
Well, before I kind of give my thoughts on this game, we did on Veterans Day ask you guys to let us know if you are a retired or active military service member, and we wanted to give you a proper thanks. And we did have Agent 87 let us know in post on our Veterans Day episode that he is a 20-year Air Force vet. So do want to say thank you to Agent 87 for your service to our country. Absolutely super grateful for you. So anybody else that's watching us in post, let us know, and we'll still give you guys thanks as much deserved. So
hey, shout out to Agent 87 too, because they've been chiming in for at least a year. So we know that they have been supporting us through and through. So we appreciate them for that as well.
Yep, big Broncos fans there. So not necessarily talking about their team tonight, but getting to these Jets at the Patriots. It is a 13-point spread. I don't know how anybody can confidently play the Jets in this game. Their offense has looked a mess for weeks now. I get that they have back-to-back wins against the Bengals and did pull off the upset last week against the Browns. But again, the Bengals and Browns. So Yeah, with no Garrett Wilson and not really knowing how this offense is going to function, and you add in the fact the Patriots look like a juggernaut, and you also add in Mike Vrabel was the Jets' favorite head coach, was the head coach that the Jets wanted to hire in this past offseason. But the Patriots job opened, and that was the perfect job for Mike Vrabel. So the Jets brass even know that the Patriots have the coaching edge. They have the edge all over the roster. This is a full Patriots game in my mind.
So I kind of misspoke. I said they were number 1 in their division, maybe overall. They're 8-2, same record as the Colts and the Broncos. And Broncos have the tiebreaker over New England. So do the Colts. So this would actually be a game where if they get the win, where they would be at top of that conference, at least until Sunday, and we get the results of those games. But so big one for them. Got to stay focused. We were kind of talking off air because if you wanted to make a case for the New York Jets, there's a couple that I could see. One of them is the fact that they have been the worst at creating turnovers, and they've had terrible luck on the offensive side. So fumbles, they have not been able to recover their own fumbles, have given the ball away. Only one fumble taken away, right, from their opponents, and no interceptions, if I'm not mistaken, Ryan.
Yeah, no interceptions, one fumble recovered. So they have one takeaway in 9 games on defense, and then they have 11 turnovers on offense. So a negative 10 turnover differential through 9 games for the Jets. The Patriots have a negative 1 turnover differential. So maybe they're sloppy with the ball. But again, how are the Jets going to score in this game?
It's going to be tough. The other case that you could make, because they can get in the red zone. The Patriots are 32nd in opponent red zone scoring, and that is touchdowns only. So if they can get there, maybe they have a chance. But, I mean, they're going to be relying on Justin Fields and Breece Hall to use their legs, and they're going up against, right now, one of the top rushing defenses in the league. So I don't know. They are number 1 right now. Team opponent rushing yards per game. New England number 1, holding their opponents to an average of 79 rushing yards per game. It's a 3.8, I believe, yards per carry. That is correct. So 6th best defense in scoring defense, holding their opponents to just 19 points a game. If you want to look at the team totals, I think that's the only way you could, right? I don't feel confident laying 13, but then again, I mean, when this game's over or tomorrow, we might be saying that was a pretty easy cover here for the Patriots. But looking at the team total of the Patriots over, I made this game a little higher. I'm not confident going with the over, though, because I don't know how much the Jets are going to contribute. There's their team totals right there, 14.5 and 27.5. So
yeah, the Patriots average for the year, I believe, is 26-7. They are top 8 in the league, 7th in the league in offensive points per game, 8th in the league in defensive points per game allowed. The Jets are 26th in offensive points per game allowed and 27th in defensive points per game allowed. So
one team that's top 10 in both and one that is bottom 10.
Yeah, abysmal. But we did want your guys' thoughts. Our poll today was cleared for touchdown. How are you playing the Jets tonight? The Jets plus the 7.5, teasing it down, getting the plus 170 here at the South Point. The Jets over their total touchdowns in the game, over 1.5, getting a minus 105 there. Jets points in the first half, going under the 6.5, could be good there, plus the 120. And the Jets to score first in the game, plus 180. If you think they had the game plan or the script ready for going into the Patriots here.
That's true. I mean, we do see on these standalone and these primetime games, sometimes the underdog can come out and be the first to score. So getting a plus 180, not a terrible price. I think I'd like 2-1 at least for that one. But let's go to Chris's efficiency and offensive efficiency and defensive efficiency numbers here. Let's take a look at this matchup. And then I highlighted 4. Ryan, if there's any more that you want to throw out there that we can look at too, but just kind of comparing the two teams that are going head to head this week. So starting off with the Jets and the Patriots, what are we looking at from Chris's numbers here?
Yeah, so Chris has a couple different stats that he looks at to make these offensive and defensive efficiencies. He hasn't exactly divulged those to us, but Jets are tied for 28th in offensive efficiency and are 28th in defensive efficiency. So fifth worst in the league there. And then the Patriots are tied for 9th in offensive efficiency, tied for 12th in defensive. So better than league average for the Patriots there on both sides of the ball.
It's funny, though, because remember how the whole offseason everybody talked about the Bills having such an easy schedule and kind of just slotted them into the one seed here for the AFC. But, I mean, the Patriots had an even easier because of where they fell last year in the division, in the standings. So it kind of makes sense why they are just having such a good year here. And I think it continues to be pretty manageable throughout the year. So let's see if they can get it done here and cover that big number. But let's move on to some of the matchups that I wanted to look at for this weekend come Sunday. And then if you want to add in any as well. But as I mentioned, those huge NFC matchups we got to get to. First, though, let's talk about an interleague here with the Bucks and the Bills. I want to compare their efficiency numbers.
Sure. Yeah. Looking at the Bills, they are first. They are the best offensive efficiency in all of the NFL, according to Chris Andrews, and they are 23rd. So below league average there on defense. And then if we look at the Bucks, they are 17th in offensive efficiency and tied for 16th in defense efficiency. So league average there. Chris is liking what the Bills can do on offense, but not necessarily on defense.
Makes sense. Both of those really do. I mean, I think the Bucks are better than just average, right there in the middle, but we haven't really seen it as of late. So
I think it's been more of a health thing.
I do too.
Kind of holding that offense back. But the defense, I think, is properly rated there.
Yeah.
So
I agree. Let's move forward. Let's go to the Seahawks and the Rams. I mentioned it yesterday when I was talking about the top 10, both of these teams being in the top 10 for scoring defense, yards per play, and opponent yards per play. Let's see what Chris's numbers say about them.
Yeah, so the Seahawks are one of only 3 teams in the National Football League that are top 10 for Chris Andrews in both offensive efficiency and defensive efficiency. Seahawks rank 6th offensively and are tied for 4th defensively. The other 2 teams, we'll talk about one in a moment, but the one that we will not talk about is the Indianapolis Colts. They are the 3rd best offensive efficiency and the 9th best defensive efficiency. But in terms of this game, Seahawks at Rams, Seahawks 6th, tied for 4th, and the Rams are slightly better on offense. They are 5th and tied for 12th on defense there.
Look at that division overall.
Yep.
I mean, Cardinals offense kind of holding them back, and even the Niners defense, and we kind of saw that on display last week against the Rams. But overall, very good division. That should be a great game between those two.
Yep.
Did that help you at all when we were talking about the Rams laying 3 at home or taking the 3 with the Seahawks?
I think so, honestly. I do think that gives me a bit more confidence in what the Seahawks are doing and their chance to go into SoFi and cover that 3 and possibly win outright to take control of this division right now.
Yeah, tight for 4th. I didn't have a big enough difference there, but I just think it's a number take. And, you know, Chris always talks about it too. Your power ratings are kind of just the base, about 75%, maybe 80% of the equation. But then you got to mix in the other intangibles there.
Right.
Let's go over to the AFC before we go to the Sunday night game.
Yeah, the big AFC West, going from NFC West to AFC West there. So the Chiefs are the other team that is top 10 in both. They are tied for 9th in offensive efficiency, and they are 10th in defensive efficiency. And then the Broncos are below league average, tied for 18th in offensive, but they are the 3rd best efficient defense in all of the National Football League.
I mean, looking at Chris's charts here, they just make so much sense, right? If you've watched any Broncos games, you know that they are top 3 defense, and different metrics will, you know, lead you to 1, 2, or 3 there. They're elite, but offensively, it has been a struggle, and that tied for 18th makes a whole lot of sense there. So that's a tough matchup there. And the Chiefs defense, I mean, it seems like they're having a down year, but they're not. They are still top 10, and I think they will remain there as long as Steve Spagnuolo is there.
Yeah, unless the Broncos can somehow figure out their offense right now, I like the Chiefs in this game, and the numbers telling you that with them favored by 4 on the road. So
I love the under. I'm shocked that it's actually going up. It was 44.5 yesterday. Now it is at 45. I don't see how we're getting too many points here in this one. 4 straight unders in head-to-heads between these two as well. Last but not least, Sunday Night Football. Let's go into the Lions and the Eagles. Lions catching points here in this one. What are we seeing for efficiency numbers?
Yeah, the current team in the standings that are tops of their division, the NFC East leading Philadelphia Eagles, they will more than likely not give up that lead at any point for the rest of this year, but they are 15th, just above league average in offensive efficiency, and they are the 7th best defense in the NFL. And then the Detroit Lions are the 2nd best offense in the NFL, and they are just below league average on defense at 18.
Strength on strength, right? We know that the Lions, one of the best offenses, got to go up against that Eagles defense that is getting better and better. Made some moves and looked great against the Packers. It was that offense that really couldn't get anything done. I got enough done. I shouldn't say that. They got enough to get that win, but anything for you as of now in that game?
I'm liking these short dogs this week. I like the Lions on the road. I like the Seahawks on the road. I like the Bears on the road. I like the Bengals on the road. I'm liking the 2.5 here in this one. And you had made the point of strength on strength in this one. That was kind of my point with the Bears and Vikings. The Bears have the 7th best offense and the 31st ranked defense, and the Vikings have the 28th ranked offense and the 8th best defense. And I would like to think that the fact that these teams have seen each other before,
right,
the Bears offense will be able to win out here. So
a lot of people are saying the Bears have been very fortunate and almost lucky. Yes. Okay. I was going to ask your thoughts on that. So,
I mean, but the thing about it, for years, my whole life, we know it's not just the Bears. There are teams that find ways to win and find ways to lose. The Bears historically, in my lifetime, have just found ways to lose. Every game this year, they're going to lose this game. They're going to lose. They're going to find a way to lose. Ben Johnson's turning the tide. This team is finding ways to win. I love to see it. I'm confident. I'm liking the turn.
Look, there's something to it, right? People are saying that about the Broncos too, but here they are 8-2. Sean Payton helping his team find ways, and Bo Nix helping his team in the fourth quarter. We've seen it with the Chiefs for a few years now with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes there. So, yeah, a lot of people like to try and find the spot and bet against those teams, and there probably is one here and there, but time being, you kind of got to ride with it.
Yeah,
definitely. All right, let's get into tonight's action. We've got about 15 minutes here before Dwayne Colucci joins us. I already saw Dean Hilt wrote in the chat he's excited to get a horse pick from DC today. If there's any games that you want us to talk with Dwayne about hockey-wise, please put them in the chat as well. We will make sure and get to them, or even NFL coming up this weekend, because Dwayne is not afraid to give us his opinions. He'll tell us as a bookmaker what he is seeing and what the books need, which I always find very entertaining and I like. So if he comes on here and says that he's going to be holding a sign on Rampart Boulevard that somebody come bet the Jets, that might entice me a little bit, especially if we can get a 14 here, 2 touchdowns with the Jets. But so it's always a lot of fun to get his thoughts and on the games, and then of course from behind the book. But you're holding up some parlay cards that you're already intrigued with.
You mentioned getting the best of the number. Reverse teaser card that we've made the point every Monday that has had, you could have won 2,000 to 1, 7 for 7 the last couple of weeks. You're getting plus 6.5 on the Jets on this card. If you like the Patriots, it's minus 20.5. But on the other cards, you got the half-point card, the Jets plus the 12.5. The ties win super. You got the Jets plus the 21. Big teaser special, you get 18.5, and then the ties win is the 13 that we're near right now. But yeah, we've had plenty of winning legs the last couple of weeks on these cards, so you can find winners. That's really the only point I wanted to make there. So.
7 of us in studio, all here today. I say we each pick a leg
for that 7 for 7.
Yes.
Okay.
See what we can do looking ahead to the weekend. Yeah, it'll be fun to cheer on.
Yep.
throughout the weekend. But we've got one college football game, really just one college basketball game I am intrigued to talk about because it's Purdue and Alabama, two of the top teams projected again for this year. And then we can kind of dive into hockey, go through them quickly where the numbers are, and projected goalies for sure. But starting off with college football in the Sun Belt. Nice little matchup here.
We've got a double-digit favorite. Old Dominion is a 10.5-point favorite against Troy. Total is at 52.
So, unfortunately, I don't have anything in this one because my numbers are right there, and seems that will happen, right? Week 12 now in college football, so we all have the same sample size and results that we're adjusting our teams each week with. So I made it 10.5. I made it 52. Now it has moved down too. It was a little bit higher there. So this was a pass for me. Tucker Carlson, quarterback there for Troy, Colton Joseph, both relatively close, I would say, in their rating coming into this one. But I definitely think Old Dominion is worthy of being a 10.5-point favorite here. So pass for me on that. We can go ahead and move to some college basketball.
Yeah, we'll go to the college hardwood, and we'll go to Alabama, hosting Purdue. Alabama is a 3-point favorite here at home. Total is 173.5. The movement has been opened 175.5 down to this 173.5. Opened 4 for Alabama, touched 5, and has come back down to where it is at now at 3.
We know Alabama wants to play fast. Last year, they were the fastest paced team in the country. Right now, they are sitting at 2, according to Ken Palm's adjusted tempo. 15th right now in offensive efficiency and 38th in defensive efficiency. On the other side with Matt Painter's team, first right now in offensive efficiency and 44th in defensive. Now, they want to slow it down. We know that from Purdue and Painter's teams here right now, 324th in pace. So really going to be who can control the pace here. Kenny White made this number 1.5, I believe, 1 or 1.5 for the Tide at home. So that would kind of lead you to take the points with Purdue. But Purdue did win last year's matchup against Alabama, 87-78. It was at home, so can't really give Bama that home revenge. But if you look back to 2024, Purdue also got the best of Alabama, 92-86. So they have won in these non-con games in back-to-back years. Haven't seen each other in the tournament, kind of had different paths, right? Probably actually been the top of each of those regions, right? So I kind of like Alabama in this spot. Lost 2 in a row to this Purdue team. And I know it's tough to go against Purdue right now, who we usually know as a defensive team, and they're playing really good offensively. But I think Bama's going to be ready for this one. So I like the favorite. Maybe just a minus 155 money line for them to get the win, avoid the point spread there.
Okay. I did want to make a brief mention of the NBA games. We've got 3 of them today. 2 home favorites. The Cavs are 7.5 minus the Raptors. Total is 238. The Suns are minus 4.5 against the Pacers. Total is 233. The Pacers are 1-10. They have not looked good at all this year. They just lost 152 to 128 against the Jazz. And that was going to be the one that I wanted to point out. The Jazz are the only home underdog today. They are a 2-point underdog at home. Total is 232.5. The reason I wanted to mention this is because I was looking at the Pistons as a home dog yesterday. Ended up not taking it, but the Pistons won big against the Bulls yesterday. The Hawks have won 3 straight, have won 4 of the last 5, are solid defensively. But the Jazz have shown that they're getting a little bit to form. Their players are kind of stepping up, at least in the last 2 nights. But again, it was Pacers and then a back-to-back against the Timberwolves. So maybe it was just an opponent kind of thing. But I like the over here, over the 232.5 in Utah. So
Jazz 4-7 on the year, which I mean, I think is pretty good for this team that was bottom of the West for the last few years, right? So they have been competitive, and you're right, the last 2 nights covering the spread, one of them winning outright. So covered in 3 of their last 5. I don't hate that getting points there with the home team. So, nice.
All right, cool. We'll move to the ice as we've got, I believe, 10 games today. Yeah. So we'll start with the Kings over the border in Toronto, taking on the Maple Leafs. They are a road favorite, -135. Total is at 6 with juice to the under. Keep in mind, the Maple Leafs will be without Austin Matthews for an extended period of time as he was injured against the Bruins 2 nights ago.
So we know that the Kings are more of a defensive team, right? Tied for 10th in goals against. They are tied for 20th in goals for. But Toronto, I mean, if anything, they have just been trying to outscore their opponents. We talked about their over streak going into the last game, and it did go over. So now 11 straight overs for them. They're 4th in scoring. Without Austin Matthews, that makes that tough. They're 32nd in goals against, and Anthony Stolarz is not starting from what I am seeing. So this is one of them with the backup goalie. But -135, I guess that's up to you if you feel that confident with the Kings here. But, I mean, that's the only way I would look to play it. I don't think there's much value there with the dog. What about you?
Yeah, I won't be playing this one. I think it's priced properly with, you had mentioned the Kings being fantastic so far this year on defense. They really don't push the puck offensively. They kind of sit back and wait for you. And if the Leafs are going to try and outscore them, it's going to be those two styles combating against each other. So I think it's priced properly, and it's going to be a stay off for me. So we'll go down to Sunrise, Florida. The Capitals taking on the Panthers. Panthers -120 at home. 5.5 is the total with juice to the over.
No Sergei Bobrovsky in this one. Logan Thompson confirmed for the Capitals. I like the way that Washington is playing. So I think there's some value there, getting a plus price here with Washington. Looking at the backup goalie right there. Do you know how to say his name, Ryan?
Daniil Tarasov.
Very good. 3-1 on the year. Goals against average 2.5 and an .891 save percentage. So I like the Caps. Anytime you can get the Capitals with a nice plus price, I do think that there is some value there. So I think that is one that really jumped out to me that I am betting tonight. We can keep going through them, of course, but that was the first one on the list.
Okay. We'll go back over the border, going to Ottawa. The Bruins taking on the Senators. The Senators are a -150 favorite here at home. Total is 6 with juice to the over.
I was pretty shocked to see this one because I thought it was going to be both of the starting goalies, but it looks like we're getting both backups here in this one. So this was an easy pass for me, unless you did want to take a look at maybe an over. Ottawa right now, they're 29th in goals against. Not very good there. Boston has been scoring. They're 6th in goals for, 3.39, and Ottawa is tied for 7th, 3.35. So it would only be an overplay for me with those two going.
Okay. Nothing for me in that one. So we'll go east, going to Montreal, taking on the Stars. Habs -120 favorite at home. Total is 5.5 with heavier juice to the over here, -125.
Another one with a backup goalie. It is Casey DeSmith instead of Jake Ottinger, but I do think he is a pretty competent backup goalie that they have there. But backup goalie for the Canadians too. We'll save this one for Dwayne unless you have anything, Ryan. But I mean, 2 backup goalies. Another one where I'm just a little tempted with a plus price there next to Dallas's name, just like Washington.
Yeah, I wouldn't fault you for taking the plus price with Dallas. But these two teams are playing really well to start this year. Both 10 wins, 4 losses. Dallas just has the 1 extra overtime loss, 10-4-3. Montreal is 10-4-2. So I do think this one's going to be extremely competitive, and you kind of see it that way in the pricing, -120 to even. But we'll go down to Detroit.
-120 and a 5.5. Yes. Just says it all right there. You're right.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll go to Detroit. The Red Wings taking on the Ducks. John Gibson going against his former team for the second time. Red Wings -140 at home. Total is 6 with just 6.5 with 15 to the over.
I've got it -140 and 6.5. So my numbers are right there. I think you were eyeing something in this one, though.
Yeah, I'll be taking a chance on the Ducks here. Going against their former team. They've already beaten Gibson earlier this year. Covered the puck line in that one, too. So kind of tempted to take the reverse. I get it's on the road. Anaheim coming off of the 4-1 loss against the Avalanche. They had a win streak going into that one. Took a chance on them against the Avalanche. Going to be doing so again tonight, getting the plus 120 on the road.
What was that final in the first matchup with Gibson going against his former team
I believe
in Anaheim?
I believe it was 6-3. It was either 6-3 or 5-3. Let me make sure. 5-2.
5-2. Well,
still went over.
I like this over, even at 6.5. That's what I have, 6.5 over 5 cents for me. So it's not it's no value. It's actually better the other way. But looking at their medians too, the Ducks 4 goals for and 3 goals against, and the Red Wings are the same. So I think we're going to see a lot of back and forth here and kind of answering just like we did last night with the Blackhawks game. So I like that over.
Okay.
I'm going to add that.
All right, we'll go to Columbus. These two teams just played each other over the weekend. Edmonton on the road against the Blue Jackets. The Blue Jackets are a slight favorite at home, minus 115 to 105 for the Oilers. Total is at 6.5. This game and the next game, both the road teams are on the second of a back-to-back. So Oilers played last night.
So
getting the win there.
What do we make of this? Both of these teams, this is their third in 4 nights. It is their 4th game in 6 nights.
Yeah, I would tend to think it'll play out similar to the first matchup a couple of nights ago, which ended up going to overtime, ended up being a 5-4 Oilers win. But that was also in the midst of a Blue Jackets road trip. So this is their first game back at home. You could say they get back in their own bed, get comfortable, get a good night's sleep. But Oilers on the road trip, I would tend to think that it'll end up being the same here with the Oilers getting the win. So,
does it favor scoring? Because if they're getting a little fatigued and tired,
right,
does that take away from the defensive side, or vice versa? They kind of slow down, don't really have their legs under them. That's what's kind of got to.
Yeah, I think the spot's a little too difficult to kind of predict either way.
Yeah.
With Columbus coming home off the road trip, you don't know if they're, feeling good getting in their own bed, or is Edmonton feeling good winning 2 straight, getting the win and getting 2 straight overtime wins? Are they angry having to go to overtime in back-to-back games? I would just be playing the Oilers on the money line here. So
Both. Who'd you say?
Edmonton.
But me too. I think that's a cheap price here, and we've seen Calvin Pickard step up and be really good in times when he had to step in for Skinner. So Jet Greaves on the other side, he is playing well this year, but yeah, I'm with you. I kind of lean that way to the Oilers.
Actually, you had mentioned both of these teams, 3 games in 4 nights. Both teams are coming off of 2 overtime games. The Blue Jackets went to a shootout against Seattle, so could be looking at if they are fatigued, could be looking at an under that, getting that 6.5.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna have to think on that one a little bit more, but for now, just the Oilers Oilers money line there. So
well, and I just wanted to kind of point that out now, so when everybody's watching the game tonight, right, and we see it unfold, then we bookmark that. Okay, the next time we have 2 teams that are playing each other, it's their 4th and 6. Is it going to happen again?
Yeah.
Or, just something to start tracking here.
Okay, cool. We'll go to the second one on the back-to-back, the second of a back-to-back. The Sabres on the road, huge underdogs, getting plus 310 against the Avalanche in Denver. Total is at 6.5 flat.
I can't get there yet. Colorado is my highest power rated team, but 370 already.
You're also laying a price for the puck line.
Geez, I don't know. Especially if it is Ukko-Pekka to go in there for Buffalo, who's only got 3 games so far. Think they'll be playing good. It is Mackenzie Blackwood on the other side, and Scott Wedgwood has kind of been their number 1 right now to start the season, and Blackwood coming off an injury, so not getting as many starts to start the year, but it's a big number. I mean, maybe just taking the plus price, seeing if they can stay within 1. Plus 1.5, plus 115.
Yeah, it looks like elsewhere in the market, there's plus 130 getting that goal and a half. So, yeah, there's the entire market likes the Avalanche in this one. So if you're playing the Sabres, be cautious.
Nathan McKinnon has been on a mission, right? We were talking about how many points in his last 3 games. I know it was 9 and 2.
Yeah.
But now he just added a few more in his 3rd game.
Yeah,
so I think it might be 12 and 3.
Both of these Avalanche goalies are playing absolutely outstanding, so it doesn't really matter who's between the pipes. the Avalanche are dominating the ice right now. So going up to Calgary, the Sharks on the road taking on the Flames. The Flames are a home favorite here, -155. Total is at 6 flat.
Brian, I think I know what you're doing.
I'm taking the Sharks again. Yep, we're going back to it, liking the Ducks, liking the Sharks, and liking one more aquatic animal here tonight. So, yeah, taking the Sharks plus the 135 on the money line.
Right now, the Sharks 13th in goals for, and Calgary 32nd. So really struggling on that side. They are 18th in goals against. So playing better defensively, but I cannot fault you there. I wish I had a play, I guess a little bit of a lean to the over, but not a very big difference. Could see some goals, right? Well, I guess Calgary's kind of the opposite there. So
Yeah, I'm thinking we're getting them from the Sharks. So.
okay, very good.
Yeah, going to Seattle now. The Winnipeg Jets are a road favorite here, -140, getting plus 120 on the buyback. Total is 5.5 with juice to the over.
Okay, one of the few goalie matchups that actually stayed the same with Connor Hellebuck there and Philip Grubauer going for the Kraken. So my numbers should be correct. I've got the Jets -126, and I've got a 5.5 over -115. What are we looking at here at the South Point again?
140 for Winnipeg, plus 120 for the Kraken.
120. So, dang it. I don't have enough of a difference jumping in, getting that plus 120, right? Because technically I'd be needing plus 125 for it even to match my number and the 5.5 right there. So it makes it tough when you actually have the goalies.
Yeah, but this is the other animal that I will be
Okay.
taking a chance on. Going, with the 3 Pacific teams, I guess 4 Pacific teams, Oilers, Ducks, Sharks, and Kraken, getting plus prices on 3 of those 4 dogs. Kraken, 4, 1, and 3 at home so far this season, are coming into this one off of back-to-back 2-1 losses. So their offense isn't exactly in form, and the Jets are coming into this one off of still on their road trip, coming in this one off a 5-3 win. But I'm thinking the Kraken right the ship at home. The Jets have kind of struggled a little bit to start this road trip, and I think they go back to the form not going against another Canadian team.
I like that Kraken at home, get that plus price. I do. And, some of these will need our Sports by the Book stamp or seal of approval there. I'm going to go with the under, though, at 5.5, getting a plus price there, too. You just mentioned Seattle losing the last 2-1. I could see them winning this one 2-1. Low scoring game here.
All right. Yeah, I will take it. All right. Final hockey game of the night is here in Las Vegas. There is a women's college basketball game at Michelob Ultra Arena as well, featuring the North Carolina Tar Heels and UCLA Bruins. But I digress. The Islanders are getting plus 165. The Knights are a -185 favorite here at home. Total is 6 with a -120 to the over.
I have -182 for the Knights at home here. Do have a small play on the over at 6.5. It is juiced to the over here at 6. But a slow start, maybe we could get a better number there. I mean, the Islanders are better in scoring, right? They're tied for 9th, 3.31 goals per game average, and tied for 19th, 3.2 goals against. So could be a get right spot for Vegas. Could see some goals on both sides. So lean to the over, if anything, for me.
Yeah, the Knights put William Karlsson on IR, so he'll be out tonight. Visiting crowd always seems to travel well, especially here to Las Vegas. So I'm thinking that the Islanders fans will at least will show up at least a little bit. And the Knights have kind of really struggled the last couple of nights. They're on a 3-game losing streak.
Yep.
So I would be looking at the Islanders here, but I don't necessarily want to play it. But yeah, it's a look to the Islanders.
I mean, that's a pretty good price. And you're right. I guess if I have -182, I did not factor in the 3-game losing streak. So that would take another 15 off of it. And plus 165 is now at least where my number would be. So cannot fault you there at all.
Also, the Islanders shut out the Rangers. Well, I guess it wasn't hard to shut out the Rangers when they did it, but 5-0 win in Madison Square Garden on the 8th. And then they went to the Prudential Center and beat the Devils, handed the Devils their first loss at home this year. It wasn't overtime. So that team playing good hockey. Yeah.
You might be catching them at a good time. They might be a little undervalued,
Yep.
not only by me, but the market in
Getting
general.
plus 165. Yeah.
I remember, well, I did have the Devils at home, so I was on the wrong side of that one. I think I might have been on the wrong side of the Ranger one as well. So that's what you're really looking for when you're betting early on, catching these teams that are undervalued or going against the teams that are overvalued. Please jump in the chat if you are watching us live. You brought up that women's game. I'm curious if JR is watching us live because he had mentioned that he wanted to go to that game, but I think he's working because the MLB awards show might be happening. So, JR, I'm probably misspeaking on some of that. So fill me in with the correct information there if you could. So we went through NBA, the one college basketball that I was intrigued by. Going to take Alabama money line at home there. All of hockey and our 2 football. Not really in depth on either football too much. Anything else before we take a break and then we welcome in Dwayne Colucci?
Not necessarily. We did have a couple of people letting us know that Pacific did not do their part to cover against Long Beach State last night. They only won by 3. So, but we're trying to get you winners here, and hopefully my plus prices get there tonight. So, yeah.
There's a process. There's always a process. We'll stick with it. Follow our numbers, not just take, a bunch of crazy bets here. But I know Bruce Marshall definitely has a process too. So we're sorry about that one. He'll get some winners this week in college football.
JR did let us know that he did want to go to this UCLA UNC. Both teams ranked top 11 in the women's college basketball standings, but he will be working the MLB award show at the Cosmo tonight, which I did see that PCA is in town. So that's hopefully I run into him at the airport on Saturday.
The A's have a Rookie of the Year. You want to say anything about that?
Absolutely. Nick Kurtz, absolute stud. Glad we got to enjoy him for the month of April before he started his tear in May and the rest of the Major League Baseball season. So, yeah, congratulations to Nick Kurtz for winning American League Rookie of the Year. Jacob Wilson was right there behind him.
Yep.
So, yeah, I may not want the organization in town, but they've got some studs on the roster that hopefully they can keep, and we've been able to root for the last couple of years. So,
yes. Well said. Yeah, Jacob Wilson second in that voting, so pretty impressive. Same team there. Roman Anthony was third.
Drake Baldwin shouldn't have won
the
NL
Red
Rookie
Sox.
of the Year, but oh well.
What? No MVP. We don't know the MVP, right?
Yeah, that's the one that has yet to be announced, but it'll most likely be Ohtani and Aaron Judge. But if you think Cal Raleigh has the argument, we'll find out tonight.
Yes, we will. Definitely. Of course, led the league in home runs, but Aaron Judge hit all the other numbers. Yeah. So we'll see.
Which
tonight.
I don't know if you saw, but Major League Baseball has changed their the look of their stats when you go to their website, and now it basically makes the argument for Aaron Judge over Cal Raleigh because it shows where he is compared to the rest of the league, batting average first, RBIs first, all that kind of stuff. Being first, it shows their league ranking with their stats. So
wow,
yeah,
not a bad move because they're going to get some backlash either way they decide to go. Yeah. So, all right, let's take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to check in with Dwayne Colucci, see how he's doing. I know he's busy up there at the Rampart, so we appreciate him giving us some time today. Please write in the chat if there's any games that you want us to talk with Dwayne about. Some of those that we've already talked about, we will hit again, including the NFC matchups, Broncos and Chiefs, and then some of those hockey games. So let us know in the chat, please, and don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on Sports by the Book.
We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south-of-the-border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside.
Are you ready to lock in your bets and cash in on the games this weekend? Get weekly football winners from Alex White, Chris Andrews, and Vinny Malulo.
I did take the dog 3.5.
I'm going to stay with the culture. That's definitely going to be one of my plays.
If the Bears have turned the corner, they have to take care of business in this game.
Yes.
Tune in for behind-the-book perspectives you won't find anywhere else.
If you're looking to bet the under, you're going to get a better number.
The wise guys are certainly not going to play the favorites.
I know if it hits 7, don't blink. Maybe that's what bettors are waiting for.
Every NFL matchup, every college game that matters, the spreads, the stats, and the smart money plays.
Is there a way to bet against both teams?
Get your winning edge with Football Frenzy, streaming on YouTube every Friday at noon Pacific.
South Point is also proud to provide a variety of relaxing amenities for the guests who want to be pampered. Soak up the sun and let your stress melt away in our lagoon-style paradise swimming pool. A relaxing getaway where you can bask in the desert sun and enjoy seasonal food and bar service poolside. And if you really want to escape, come to Spa Costa del Sur. From couple suites to a co-ed wet area, our spa caters to business and leisure travelers who want to unwind and elevate their senses. A visit to one of our spa's steam, sauna, or whirlpool treatment rooms will leave any guest feeling like they can take on the world.
Welcome back, everybody. Sports by the Book, live from the South Point Hotel and Casino. Alex White, Ryan McCormick here with you for the last hour. And now we bring in our good friend from the Rampart Hotel and Casino up in Summerlin. Make sure you go and see him. Manager of the Race and Sports Book, Dwayne Colucci. Dwayne, how are you doing? We appreciate you. I'm sorry. I know you actually have to work and we pulled you away after a meeting. How are you doing today?
Doing great, Alex. Always have time for my favorite show. You know that.
Well, you're everybody's favorite, too, in the chat. They've already been talking about you. Where's Dwayne? So we asked him if they had any games specifically that they wanted us to talk with you about. So we'll get to those. But first, tonight, I was kind of joking that you might be holding a sign outside of the Rampart saying, bet the Jets. Is that how it's looking tonight?
Yes, young lady, definitely. Without a doubt. You know my MO. I mean, it's almost 2-to-1 ticket count now, but the money is significantly higher on the Patriots. We opened the game here at the Rampart in South Point. I believe it was 10.5, and now it's skyrocketed to 13. Drake May, unbelievable season he's having so far. And, the Jets traded away a lot of their key defensive players and weapons, including Sauce Gardner. And, it definitely, they're in a rebuilding phase now. And we've seen how Justin Fields has a limited skill set with this current surrounding offense. And, Breece Hall has been the bright spot, but they've also talked about, trading him prior to the deadline. So, we'll see how it plays out. They need some special teams help like they've had in the past couple of games to improve their chances of winning. But this is a tough situation, especially, going to New England, having to face that hostile crowd and a team that is just rejuvenated. And very few people picked them to be in first place of this AFC East. I did, going into the season, say that they were probably the only opponent that could possibly push Buffalo, but nobody expected this. I mean, Stephon Diggs is having a great year. They have a good, defense, and they're playing above their skill set and above what people perceive they would do this year. So, it's understandable that the Patriots are 13 at the Rampart and South Point. Ticket count 2-1. You're going to see a lot of parlays and teasers going into the college games, as well as Saturday and Sunday action on the Patriots. We're definitely going to need the Jets. Like you said, Alex, I'll be holding that sign in a few hours out in front of the Rampart. But, anything is possible. We've seen this at the NFL level. We spoke about last week how I felt Green Bay was not going to be able to sustain the Eagles coming off that bye week. And Sirianni gave them every chance in that game. So, it still played out the way we anticipated. It's been a rough couple of weeks in the NFL, for the books, and we'll see if it plays out tonight the way the public perceives. It just may. I think on a teaser, the Patriots are very, very attractive at this stage. I mean, laying 7 points on a 6-point teaser, or even if you take a 7-point teaser, you're laying less than a touchdown. It's going to be hard for the Jets to keep up here. They are, like I said, in my opinion, in a rebuilding phase. They traded off their key assets for some key draft picks. And, it's just a wait and see approach with this team. But also, let's keep in mind, Miami was able to beat Buffalo pretty easily last week. So anything's possible in this crazy division.
Well, Dwayne, you'd mentioned the division, and you'd mentioned the Bills a little while ago, and that's the one that I'm kind of curious about. Open Bills -5.5, now Bills -6 against the Bucks. Total was 50.5 and has gone down, steady down to now 47.5. What do you think here?
Yeah, the Bills laying 6 and they're coming off a loss. Definitely you're going to be looking for Allen to light it up. This is a ticket count where it's almost 2-1, but we still have some Baker Mayfield backers. But the money is significantly higher. That is 4-1 on the Bills. So people are still holding on to those Bill coattails. But, that was a horrible game last week. They need to improve. Similar to Green Bay, you always have that talent, but they're not getting the job done. They're not getting to the big game. They're not winning the big game. And you have to also look at coaching on that side. They made some offers for some key assets to surround Josh Allen with, but they didn't pan out. I read an article about how they even offered for Jalen Waddle, and you see he destroyed them last week. So, Buffalo is scratching their heads. They're in a tough position now. You want to have some home field advantages going into the playoffs, but now you have your back against the wall, and you have several teams that have better records or equal records. So they need to start winning games now. This could be a focal game for them and a key point, because the Buccaneers are not playing as well as they did prior to, earlier in the season. Baker Mayfield was an MVP front runner, and now you got a guy like Drake May that's outplaying him. So let's keep that in mind. This is going to be a very, very tough game, a battle of 6-3 teams, and both need it desperately. This is usually, though, keep this in mind, guys, this is usually a good spot for a team like Tampa. But I still think Buffalo wants to, they want to play in that AFC championship again, but they need to step it up to that level. And why not at home? Tough game to handicap, though. We have the spread perfect. Like I said, you're looking at that 4-1 money count, but the ticket count is close.
Dwayne, I want to hit one of the two really good NFC matchups here. And these two are probably two of the three top teams with the Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Rams. Huge division game for these two. Looks like they're taking the 3, laying the 2.5. Is that sharp money? And then do you have an opinion on this NFC West matchup?
Well, I think it's a combination of both, Alex. I mean, we're seeing 3. The ticket count is 2-1 in favor of the Rams. The money is even more significant. It's about 4-1. So
Wow.
You're seeing both the sharps and the average consumer piling it on the Rams. The Rams have looked very good. The offenses look great. Matthew Stafford is rejuvenated. They have so many weapons with Nakua Adams and all those guys. And the defense does, keep them in games. They had a horrible loss against Philadelphia, a game that they should have won earlier in the season as well. So it's, honestly, I could see the Rams being a public favorite this week. I like the game a lot more at -2.5 than 3, but you're not going to see that unless we get plied with Seahawk money. Sam Darnold has shown flashes, like he did last year, but getting over the hump is the whole key. Got to get the ball downfield to Najig, but, I think the Seahawks definitely have a chance. This is a tough matchup, in my opinion, but the public seems to be, as well as the sharps, steaming the Rams in this position. Total 48.5 here at the Rampart in South Point. I think it's going to be like a 3-point to 6-point game. So I'm going to lay off this game, Alex. I really don't have much of an opinion. But if you hold my hand to the fire, I would probably take the points here. Maybe a letdown for the Rams, but I'm not sold on the Seahawks as of yet.
All right, going to the AFC West here, the big matchup between the Chiefs and the Broncos. Honestly, a must-win if you want to have the division crown. Kind of seems like the AFC wildcard pictures, the playoff pictures kind of dominated top heavy in the AFC, but Chiefs are 4 and the total is 45. What do you think here? Is it too much on the road?
No, I'll be honest with you, Ryan. I don't. This is one game where I do have an opinion. I think that the Chiefs are going to come out smoking in this game and try and, take control early. That's been the flaw with the Denver Broncos and Bo Nix. They start so slowly and then they come on like a house of fire. So I'll be looking at Chiefs, -4 as well as a first half wager with the total of 45, even though they're on the road. We're seeing a 2-to-1 ticket count. But the money is almost even. So let's keep that in mind. A lot of sharps are taking the points here. And everybody, I've watched patterns of sharp bettors. And, when you're getting more than a field goal in a tough matchup like this at home, the sharps tend to take the points. So, to be honest with you, I understand that aspect. But I think the Chiefs are the right side here. I think Patrick Mahomes is really going to start to get it going. Kelsey, some of the running backs, they have to mix it up. Keep Bo Nix on the sideline. He hasn't played all that well yet. They're 8-2. So, this is a tough game to handicap, especially going into that high altitude. And, we'll see how the temperature is and the weather. But the Chiefs are used to that. I mean, they're the consummate professionals. They're so well coached by Reed. You have Mahomes, the great team leader. And I think the Chiefs will definitely come out on top of this game. I just hope it doesn't fall within 3.
Let's go to the last game of Sunday night here. The Lions and the Eagles. It's a great matchup. Detroit catching 2.5. The Eagles coming off of that boring but good win for them over the Green Bay Packers. What are you thinking in this NFC showdown?
Yeah, that was a snooze fest, Alex. I'll tell you the truth. Horrible coaching at its finest. And just like I said, Matt LaFleur, he doesn't know what to do. Sirianni didn't know what to do. I mean, think about it. They couldn't kill the clock with like 2.5 minutes to go. Sirianni throwing that play downfield at the end of the game. That was just ridiculous. And then you're giving Jordan Love a shot, throwing a nice crossing pattern down the field. Their kicker was banged up, so that played into Sirianni's favor. But, the Eagles, they're still in somewhat of a disarray mode. I mean, Saquon looked great in the first half, but then he wasn't, too much existent in the second half. You get that big play out of Jalen Hurts every now and then, but, it's going to be difficult if they don't get this offense on the same page. And A.J. Brown is still upset. You see him outspoken. If you have me on on your fantasy team, drop me, just making all these comments. And he's not happy. And he is definitely their main asset at the wide receiver position. I mean, I know they have other players that you could get the ball down the field to, but, it seems like Jalen Hurts puts too much on his shoulders, and eventually it's going to collapse the Eagles. This is a tough matchup. I mean, we're seeing a lot of Lion money here. We opened the game at 1.5. The sharps pounded it up to 2.5, but I could see it coming back down to 2, 1.5 possibly, because we are seeing a higher ticket count and the parlays are starting to roll in on the Lions. The Lions need this game. I mean, the Bears are right there. Everybody in that division is stacked up whereas the Eagles have a massive lead in the division. You know Dallas isn't going to catch them. Jaden Daniels on the sideline hurt Washington, and the Giants are just a catastrophe. So the game is way more important for the Lions. I would take the points right now, 2.5 with the Lions, and that seems to be what the public is doing. It will come down, so get on it quick. If you ever see a 3, or if, some places let you buy it up, I know that, I would take 3 points with the Lions with a smile.
That should be a great game to watch on Sunday night. But going to Monday night, maybe not so much. It is your Cowboys. They are a road favorite here in Las Vegas, down the road from each of us. Totals at 50. And Cowboys laying the 3 on the road. Should they be a favorite on the road?
I don't know, but the ticket count is about 9-1 in favor of the Cowboys. But we did get some sharp action. Don't get me wrong. The money is very close because we did have a few sharp bettors pound the Raiders. So, this is a game where, what other than the crowd enjoying the game, and there's going to be a ton of Cowboy fans here at Allegiant, I have to lay off this game. I can't lay 3 points with the team that has no defense. Their defense is pitiful. It's ridiculous. We discussed this early in the season. I'm not one of those homers that's going to, tell you the Cowboys are going to win no matter what. They have so many flaws on this team. But, how do you not beat the Raiders? Geno Smith is a turnover machine. How many interceptions in straight games has he had? They seem to be still in disarray. The Raiders are not a good football team. 3 actually seems like a steal. All the parlays and the general public, like I said, are on the Cowboys, but you have the sharps on the Raiders. So, a 3 is the right number. This is a coin flip, in my opinion. Maybe Geno could get healthy and we could go over that 50 total at the Rampart and South Point, but that's a gaudy total. And the Raiders haven't scored or shown any improvement on the offensive side. Actually, it's been a decline. Problems with the coaching staff. Upstairs they're grumbling. They have to make some maneuvers in the offseason here to try and put forth a good product here in Las Vegas. The Cowboys, like we said, they made that move with the Jets. We'll see if they improve at all. Dak Prescott early in the season, he looked really good. Now he's come back down to earth. He needs to get the ball to CD. He needs to get the ball to the tight ends. Williams has to have a good game. And what better formula than to play the Raiders? And you're going to have a lot of Cowboy fans in Allegiant. So maybe the Cowboys win this game, but I wouldn't hang my hat on it. Looking at the total of over, and maybe Dallas could light it up a little.
I do actually like that over, too. You made some great points there. And the Raiders' defense has actually looked pretty good, but against lesser offenses like the Broncos and the Jags. So I think Dallas's offense might be able to figure it out. And Geno and Smith company might be able to put some points on the board, too. Dwayne, tough hockey slate. We went through it. A lot of backup goalies. Is there anything that jumped out to you today in hockey?
Well, the backup goalie situation, like on a team on the Canadians, like my Canadians, it plays in your favor because Dobich is going to be in between the pipes tonight. But still, what I saw in that last game, Alex, and I'm going to dissect my Montreal Canadiens, is you have a team that's 10-3 and the head coach still isn't happy. He's making mistakes, throwing Montembeault out there in games that are unwinnable. They lost 8 in a row to the Kings. You put a guy who's looking to boost his confidence in between the pipes there. Huge mistake. Then he pulls the goalie down 4-1, and they showed no offensive prowess in that game. They give up the 5th goal. St. Louis then moved Slavkovsky from the number 1 line to the 2 line, putting the rookie on the number 1 line. He looked somewhat, not cohesive with Suzuki and Caulfield. And why are you making all of these changes when you're playing above your head to begin with? You're the best team in the Eastern Conference, and you're making all maneuvers and changes. Look for the Stars tonight. I hate to pick against the Canadians. Dallas is going to play a good game. They have 10 victories as well. This is just a tough spot because the Canadians coaching staff doesn't know how to really get a grasp on this young team as of yet. You saw Hudson make that mistake, which led to a goal. Montembeault just gave the puck to Fiala. He lit the lamp. The Canadians did not look cohesive in that last game. That was their worst game of the season. And to follow it up and say you're going to come back with your best game when the coach is making grumblings in the locker room, that's a tough spot. I like the Stars here, and I hate to pick against my Canadians. I'll still be rooting for them. It's a catch-22, but I'll have my money on the Stars tonight. The same thing with the Golden Knights here, Alex. What you have to understand, the Golden Knights right now are playing with 2 backup goaltenders.
Yep.
These are not NHL level goaltenders. I don't care how bad Aiden Hill has played. You could tell Aiden Hill is banged up and his body is sore. You don't know when he's coming back. They're obviously waiting for Carter Hart to, give them an injection. It's just, to me, they're not a cohesive unit right now. You're having trouble with Eichel and Marner, getting in sync, basically. And you have a lot of other assets, guys like Saad, who are somewhat new to the team. What they're lacking is the veteran leadership. Stone is not there. This shows you how important Mark Stone is. He's one of the best captains in the NHL, and you need that veteran leadership. Jack Eichel has to step up, take the reins here, start to control the locker room. Otherwise, it's going to be a free fall for the Knights until they start to get healthier. I like the Islanders at a big plus 165 tonight. Patrick Roy has these guys playing at an excellent level. They're definitely better than what they were last year, and I anticipate they're going to improve and continue to improve. So let's take a shot with the Islanders. They're coming off that victory against the Devils. That was a big victory. So I like the Islanders here.
Well, I think that just leaves us.
Busted out the stamp of approval there. We like the Islanders on the road against the Knights here.
Oh, there it is.
I like that. I saw it. Yeah, that's beauful.
And then we also had JR in the comments saying more like the Vegas Bronze Knights or the Stainless Steel Knights.
Well, let's take it easy. I mean, it's early in the season. I mean, come on. I mean, what do you think? This is just going to play out throughout the season? The NHL is peaks and valleys. Remember the Blues when they won the Cup that year, right? I mean, they were nowhere. And then all of a sudden you go on these massive winning streaks. Yep. And, it's a tough, long 82-game season. The Knights will improve. There's too much talent. We have way too much talent. Once they start to get healthy, they will improve.
Yeah,
this is just a singular game.
Plus ownership
exactly.
They
won't stand for that. You saw that they went right out with Aiden Hill possibly, being on the shelf for an extended period. They snapped up Carter Hart. They'll take the chance, which I love about this ownership. They are the polar opposite of the Raiders. I know the Raiders are trying, but, Mr. Foley is a great, great owner and great for the town of Las Vegas. Remember, they're the Vegas-born team. They're the only team that has not been, an expansion team. Even the WNBA team, as great as the Aces are, remember, they came from a different city, whereas the Vegas Golden Knights are the Vegas Golden Knights.
Vegas-born, that's right.
That's right.
Before we let you go, any pony picks for us?
I was looking today at some of these races, Alex. I was waiting though for Aqueduct. The problem is that they had some rain, so I was making some adjustments to my tickets. Hold on, I have my sheet right here so I could give it to you. I was looking actually at the last race today. We're going to take a shot with the 3, a Bourbon for Toby. Tom Morley, John Velasquez, 9-2 morning line. I think this horse has an excellent shot to win, and he's going to be close to the lead. So let's put some money on him. Morley has 2 horses in the race, Alex, has the 3 and the 4. I like the 3 horse. Use him with the 4, 5, and 6 in this race.
Awesome. You are the best. Dwayne, what are you looking forward to this weekend over at the Rampart?
Well, already Alex Delmar is canceled for Saturday, so that was somewhat unfortunate. We'll have a great race crowd without a doubt here. And, I'm just looking for some excellent NFL and some excellent college football so we could fire everything up. Everybody's anticipating the NFL and the college season to get going. We have college baskets, which has been great. St. John stumbled a little there against Bama. We'll see if they could get back on track. My St. John's Red Storm and, it looks like the landscape for college basketball is going to be very difficult. You're much better than I am, but, I think it's going to be a difficult season to get a read. The Rebels, I can't believe what happened to them earlier in the week. That was a stutter step without a doubt. As Richie Aprile would say in The Sopranos, that was a big stutter step. So they better start to improve as well as Patino and his team. But yeah, college baskets looks great. The NHL, the NBA. We got some young teams in the NBA. Houston is lighting it up like I anticipated. San Antonio, they stumbled last night, but they're playing well. Lakers have been a surprise. I mean, what's going to happen when LeBron gets healthy and comes back? Luka's the man, but will LeBron upset some of that chemistry? They have a fabulous point guard there. A lot of good teams. Jalen Brunson went down last night, so keep your eye on the Knicks as well. And the injury report, I think he's going to miss a couple of games. Knicks haven't really found that stride under Brown as of yet. That was a big loss last night, and then Brunson got hurt with like a minute 40 to go, Alex. So keep your eye on the Knicks. They're supposed to be the front runner in the East, but teams like Cleveland and the Pistons have been outplaying them. Orlando is playing very well. A lot of these young teams in the NBA, and what's the constant? OKC is monstrous. I mean, how are you going to stop this team? That acquisition for Hartenstein and just SGA and is so deep, and they play such a well-rounded game. They're going to be so difficult to stop. I mean, that loss against Portland was hard to believe, but definitely they're the front runner and the best team in the NBA by far, in my opinion. So teams better elevate their level if they want to get to that OKC Thunder championship.
Yeah.
Just know that the Thunder also are getting the Clippers pick in this year's draft as well. So the Clippers, having the injury concerns that they do, Thunder are gonna have a top 7 pick in this year's draft lottery.
Yeah, that's unbelievable, Ryan, to think about it. A team that, has won so many games, and they'll have won so many games in the past 2 seasons, to get the Clippers pick, which is the Clippers are horrible. I mean, Kawhi never wants to play, so he might as well just retire.
Yep.
Dwayne, thank you so much. If anybody is in Las Vegas, go visit Dwayne up at the Rampart. Make sure and say hello. We appreciate you. We hope you have a great weekend, and we will check in again next Thursday.
Thanks for having me on, guys. The best show on the internet, on the radio. You got to listen to us. We're going to point you in the right direction. We're going to try at least. So much knowledge surrounding me, as you can see on this graphic. Alex is great. Ryan, unbelievably stepped it up to another level. The best show, period. I don't have to say anymore. Sports by the book.
Have a great weekend. We'll see you soon, Dwayne. Thank you. Yes. And I'm going to check in with the chat right now, and a lot of positive and nice comments about Dwayne, too, talking about him being one of the best ever. So appreciate you guys jumping in. I did see that Dean Hilt had requested for us to take a look at Mississippi State and Mizzou. We will do that tomorrow on our Football Frenzy with Chris and Vinny. But thank you guys for jumping in. JR, I appreciate the trends in here. I misspoke. Toronto, 12 straight overs in a row, and Montreal also 8 overs in a row for Dwayne's Canadians there. And then Daryl Turner, I appreciate all of your picks that you are throwing in as we're going game by game. Got to admit, I do like a lot of them and which way you are leaning there. Nick had brought up that he does have an MVP ticket, needs Schwarber. I think that is going to be the tougher of the two to try and take Ohtani there. But yeah, anything else that you saw in the chat that I missed, Ryan?
I thought JR's comment was so funny. We were talking about ponies with DC, and he goes, who should I take in the next Sigma Derby race at the D, which is those machines, those horse racing machines. I thought that was hilarious. So yeah, nice one there, JR.
And it did make Dwayne laugh a little bit too. So thank you guys all. We appreciate you. Do we have a poll result?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So how are you going to be playing the Jets in tonight's Monday Night Football or Thursday Night Football game? Excuse me. Cleared for touchdown. How are you playing the Jets tonight? Jets touchdown scored over the 1.5 minus 105 here at the South Point. Jets points in the first half under 6.5 getting plus 120. Jets plus the 7.5 full game getting plus 170, and the Jets to score first in the game getting plus 180 there. And our viewers are going with the Jets to go over their touchdown total, getting at least 2 in tonight's game, taking the minus 105 here. 40% of our viewers like the Jets to put up at least 12, considering you need to make the extra points today.
Yes, definitely. Okay, well, kind of threw a tough one at them and forced them to make a pick there for tonight's game. I don't have any. I've got a couple on the ice, not really an official whiteboard. But trivia first, and then we'll jump into both of our plays for the night.
Yeah, so it was a baseball question for you guys today. On this date in sports history, November 13th, 1997, Hall of Fame outfielder Ken Griffey Jr., the Kid, was unanimously named the American League MVP. Of his 630 career home runs, how many did the Kid hit in the 1997 season? In that season, he hit 56 home runs, a feat he repeated the following season in 1998. Griffey Jr. is one of only 31 players to have a career span across 4 decades, playing in the 80s and did get to the 2010s, playing in that 2010 season. During the 1997 season, the Kid also achieved the Gold Glove Award, Silver Slugger Award, AL Home Run Leader, AL RBI Leader, and the MLB and an MLB All-Star. So that is exactly why he was the American League unanimous MVP in that season.
And across the 4 decades, there makes sense of why he is so many people's favorite baseball player when you ask.
Yeah, and just an added note, there have been 23 unanimous league MVPs in Major League Baseball history, both of which were unanimous last year, Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani. Nick, I know you got the Schwarber ticket, but I'm thinking Ohtani's going to be unanimous in the NL again, and then the votes will be split in the AL. So no unanimous there for Judge. But
Steve Cofield asked me yesterday if there was any value taking Nick Kurtz MVP for next year, and asked if he could hang around with some of those top guys in his second year. And that was a tough question, so we'll have to think on that, and of course look at odds and see if there's any value. But
we will get to see the A's play Major League Baseball games here in Las Vegas at the Las Vegas ballpark next year. I believe those dates are in May. So if you haven't gotten the tickets already, they will be hot. So look for those. Definitely.
I'm looking forward to that. I think we actually might get to work a little bit of those for Big League Weekend. So yes. Well, that's it for us for today. We appreciate everybody hanging around for the full time. No, we went over a little bit, but we wanted to make sure and get Dwayne's thoughts, even though he had a meeting this morning, so I had to push that back. But I think we got through a lot of great information. Remember, no show tomorrow at 10 a.m., but we will be here at noon. So Friday at noon, Football Frenzy for 2 hours. Lock it in, or you can always catch it later with the replay. You can always catch us actually wherever you get your podcast as well. So we are audio form as well.
There is another thing that we are trying tomorrow. So we will be... We are missing the morning show, missing the 10 a.m. We will have the Football Frenzy starting at noon, but we will be separating the shows. It will be a college football episode, and then we will end that episode and go into NFL. So for those looking for college specifically, we'll get college specifically. Those looking for NFL specifically, we'll get NFL specifically. If you want both, we're still going to run them live as both at the same time. You just can go from one to the other. So excited to get to that tomorrow, and we hope to see you guys there.
Yes, and of course we're going to go conference by conference, which we usually go rotation number. We'll still keep it rotation number, but we're going to go, I'm within each conference. Yeah. But just because these games are so meaningful, we want to kind of keep them close together, and then who's playing for what and kind of certain situations, because Miami needs a lot of help to make it into the playoffs, but we'll see. So we'll talk through some of the situations too. Plays for the day. I don't want an official whiteboard. Yesterday was better for me, but I will give out my 3 plays. And then also, speaking of an early play, I hope you grab 3 with Clemson for tomorrow night, because Bruce Marshall gave that out on the show, and it is 2.5 everywhere. I will say I think 2.5 is still good. I think that is the correct spot with Clemson. Big win over Florida State last week. Louisville kind of falling off now down the stretch. So here are my 3 hockey plays. Look a little bit different. I'm taking a plus money price here with the Washington Capitals. I'm going Ducks and Red Wings over 6.5. And then I am taking the Jets and the Kraken under 5.5. I really didn't even have to put it there. I kind of just wrote it so I didn't forget. So there it is.
It's legible.
There we go. Ryan, What
All
do you
right.
like? You like some dogs tonight?
I like those plus prices that we're getting in Detroit on the Ducks, taking the Ducks on the money line. Liking the plus price we're getting in Calgary on the Sharks, taking the Sharks on the money line. And liking the plus price we're getting in Seattle on the home team, the Kraken there. So taking the Kraken on the money line. And I'm gonna fight myself, but reverse puck lines for those are very tempting. Getting over $3 for the Sharks, getting around $3 for the Ducks, about $2.50 for the Ducks elsewhere here in Las Vegas, and then the Kraken I think is around $2 as well. So I'll be fighting myself on that one as we get closer to game time. But for now, for my picks for today, just the money lines for those dogs there.
Maybe a little bit of pizza money on those reverse puck lines there for Ryan. Can we throw up Dwayne's still right here? Because just want to remind everybody that Dwayne's always watching. So when you're making your bets, think about what all the good advice Dwayne gave us. But if you could see the still, it's really good right here. He's just staring at us. Yeah, there we go. There we go. We appreciate Dwayne jumping on with us after his meeting. We'll have him again on the show next Thursday. And hopefully his pony. I know it's a 3-horse.
Oh, we love you, DC.
Yes. Okay. Well, that's it for us for today. There's 7 of us in studio. We are going to put together a parlay card, right? Reverse teaser, whichever one we want. But the 7 of us, we'll give it out tomorrow. We'll let you know what we came up with. It's Ryan, Sean, Drew Dog, Jerry, and Vince, and myself. We'll share it tomorrow on Football Frenzy, and hopefully it is a winner. But that's it for us for today. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being active in the chat. Thank you for playing along and picking something on the poll and trying for the trivia. So we appreciate y'all. Give us a follow here on the YouTube channel and on our social media. We'll be back tomorrow at noon for Football Frenzy. Can't wait to break down all of those games. So thank you again for Ryan McCormick. I'm Alex White. You've been watching Sports by the Book live from the South Point Hotel and Casino.